Well, hey there friends, and welcome to the Raising Amazing Tween Girls show, where we love tween girls and the mamas who are raising them. I'm Lisa Tony with Girltribe Nation, and I am so very glad that you are joining me today. Girltribe Nation is committed to raising a generation of tween girls to be smart, to be healthy, to be brave, and to live with a whole lot more happy in their lives. Well, today's episode is sponsored by Growing Up Girl, the online puberty class for tween girls by Girltribe Nation. If you are looking for an online class that teaches all the things about growing up girl, including puberty, body changes, and basic reproduction, then this is the class you've been looking for. It is age appropriate for girls between ages 9 through 12, and it has sessions on understanding puberty, hair care, skin care, nail care during puberty, growing breasts and bras, getting your period, period care, and basic reproduction. If you are looking for something that takes a protective approach and encourages delayed sexuality rather than the experimental and active sexuality approach that most puberty curriculum encourages today, then this online course is just what you are looking for. We encourage tweens and their moms to watch it together, and we include 6 amazing mother-daughter great dates that go along with the curriculum so that you can talk about all the things together. You can check it out at girltribenation.com/growingupgirl. Well, today I'm so excited. We are going to begin a 3-part series on conflict with tweens. Now, Girltribe Nation believes deeply that we need to end this mean girl streak. Can I get an amen out there? Being mean to other girls is hurtful, and it damages their self-esteem, their identity, and it really denies girls the potential of building good and healthy friendships with one another. So we are going to work together as mamas to raise tween girls that know how to deal with conflict. Sound good? Now, did you ever get taught the skills for working through conflict, or did you just get a whole lot of, just be nice? Just be nice is easy when people are nice, but what do we do when they are not? Well, for the next 3 weeks, we are going to talk about some skills that we can work on with our girls so that they can have some things in their tool belt to know how to navigate the mean. Here's the thing, we all have bad days. Even my dearest friends sometimes say things that hurt me because, well, we're all human. We make a lot of mistakes. We get frustrated and tired and angry. And so we need to have a mindset of learning to have grace with one another. Grace is giving someone something they don't deserve. Sometimes that is the approach that we need to take. Well, today we are talking about conflict and 2 magical words. These words are, I'm sorry. Recently I had a little conflict with my cousin, and we don't live in the same state, we aren't close to each other physically, and so we do a lot of texting and a lot of communication by phone. And she was upset with something I did, and I did not understand why she was so upset. She'd never been upset before, it wasn't something I had done differently, and so we really had to navigate this conflict. We had to work through it, and I had to say some I'm sorry for some things I did. She had to say some I'm sorries for the things that she did, and it was hard. It was an emotional, draining 2 days that we were navigating this conflict. And I really feel like we were able to move forward through it on the other side. And at the end of all our conversations, we were able to say, I forgive you, let's put it behind us and move forward. Our relationship is more important than what this conflict is. Well, that's taken me a lot of grown-up years to know how to navigate conflict. And sometimes we were never taught conflict resolution. We weren't taught how to deal with it. We were taught a lot more about how to engage. And that's the thing with conflict, is it is much more natural for us to engage and pour gasoline on an argument to make it erupt even further, because sometimes it feels good to be angry when someone attacks you or says something that's hurtful to you. That's our natural response. And so to learn the skills of, rather than carrying gasoline and pouring it on the fire, but learning to carry a water bucket and how to douse water on a situation that has inflamed is a skill. It takes practice and it takes intentionality. And so if you've never been taught that, these are going to be some good things for you to think through too. But these are definitely some good things that we need to work through and talk through with our girls, so that as they move forward in life, they understand what that looks like, to know that they're carrying a bucket of water and a bucket of gasoline, and it's up to them to use wisely which one they're going to pour on a flaming situation that has erupted, and how to calm it down. So today we're talking about the words, I'm sorry. These two simple words, 3 if you count I am sorry, but they are so hard to say, aren't they? I mean, just sometimes even getting them out of our mouths, we don't want to, because it means that we're admitting something that we did wrong. And none of us likes to be wrong. We want to be right all the time. But here's the thing, we got to model that to our girls, and we've got to talk to them that you're not right all the time. I'm not right all the time. I make mistakes. And that we have to model something that is hard to say, like I'm sorry. We're sometimes scared to say that because we think it's going to make us look bad. It's going to make us look like we don't know what we're doing, or it may be embarrassing to us. But we have to move past that and help our girls understand that when we say I am sorry, it's actually helping people to see that they're going to have more respect for us, because they recognize that we don't have our act all together all the time. We're human. We make mistakes, and it's okay. But the thing is, we need to make our mistakes, and we need to have a healthy process of acknowledging the responsibility that we have in our mistakes, and also talking through it with a person that has been hurt by what has happened. You know, if we've never been taught these skills, then it doesn't really come natural. This is not something that they will figure out on their own. Saying I'm sorry is something that takes a whole different level as we get to be in tween years, adolescent years, teen years, and even in adult years. We've gotten really good in our society of having a way to defend ourselves and believe that what we did was justified, and that other people should understand that and accept that. And because of that, we're losing in our culture the ability to apologize and say, hey, maybe I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry that I came off that way. I'm sorry that I did that. I mean, that is admitting that we're wrong. And these are skills that help us handle conflict well. We have to learn to own up to our mistakes. It's so important because it builds in us humility. It builds in us a sense that we need to have a sense of balance, that we don't always know how to do things, and that we need other people. And it also teaches our girls that this is a process of growth, that we are in a constant state of growth and learning as we mature. And so as they move into these tween years and their teen years where they feel like they're indestructible, part of our job as moms is to help them understand that having a humble heart, a humble approach to life is going to make us much more approachable to people. People are going to like us better, rather than assuming the attitude that we know it all and we don't ever make mistakes. And so learning to say I'm sorry helps us to be people who are approachable and helps us to continue in the process of growing and learning. When we have to say we're sorry, it means that we've had to learn what we did by mistake. And so next time, we might not approach the same kind of situation in the same way. We've learned how to do it a little bit differently. Okay, so what I want to do today is just go through a process that may be helpful to you as you talk to your girl about this idea of apologizing. And sometimes we really need to teach our girls what this process looks like and practice it with them so that they have these words in their heads and their hearts and they're ready to use them when it is time for them to do so. So here's the first part. When you're thinking about making an apology, you want to first remember the good. Okay, you want to just remind your girl that there's so many good things about her. She does so many good things well. We kind of need to give ourselves a little pep talk to remind ourselves that we are not the scum of the earth. We messed up, but there's still good things. And so if we say we're sorry, it's not the end of our personhood. It's not the end of our identity. This is one thing that we did, and there's lots of things around us that are still good and healthy and helpful in relationships. Okay, so we remember the good. The second thing is we need to rehearse. Now, I know sometimes that might feel like you're not as sincere, but actually rehearsing an apology helps you to be more specific, and it helps to give you a little bit more confidence in the words that you're using. Have you ever taken your daughter, maybe when she was little, to say she's sorry to a neighbor or a friend that she hurt, and they like hide behind you and they like say sorry and put their eyes down because they're embarrassed and they don't really know or understand all the words that need to be said. But as our girls are growing, they can handle more words. And so practicing the apology allows you to be more specific. Not just saying, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry I snapped at you yesterday about what you said at lunch. So, having her take a moment just to practice, whether she writes it out or whether she verbalizes it, can be really helpful in the apology process. Okay, so we remember the good, we rehearse the apology, and then we take responsibility. So taking responsibility means saying, I was wrong. And this is a helpful approach because it acknowledges to the other person that you really feel bad about what happened and that you understand that what you did was wrong. And so that is a process of growth, that is a process of maturation in our girls, that they remember the good, they rehearse, and they take responsibility for the wrong. That they're going to be able to say, I screwed up, I messed up, I am super sorry. I was lame, I was a bad friend, I'm sorry, it was my bad, I'm sorry. Okay, so we've got our three first things: remember the good, rehearse, and then take responsibility. Our next one is your response. You want to help your girl think through the feelings that were happening in the midst of whatever situation happened. If they had an argument out on the playground, or somebody posted something that they're frustrated about, talk about why that feels so bad. You want to talk about their feelings. We don't always do this, and if we don't do this, sometimes girls bottle their feelings, and this is one of the causes for stress and anxiety today, that we're not talking about feelings enough. And so if we can help bring those feelings to the surface, it helps name them and helps her understand what is going on inside of her, and also maybe what was going on inside the other person. So that says something like, okay, if we take our situation that our girl snapped at someone, said something really mean to someone, her friend at lunch yesterday, because she said that she didn't feel like hanging out. Well, so to practice your response or talk about your response, your feelings, is saying, well, I felt really like you didn't want to be my friend anymore. I wasn't really thinking about how you felt. Maybe did you feel just like you were tired and you still wanted to be my friend, but you just weren't focusing? So being able to engage in a discussion about feelings is so helpful in the response and the apology process, because it allows you to have some connection and not just say, I'm sorry, and walk away. There's no emotional and healing that is happening if you just say, I'm sorry, and you walk away and you don't continue to engage in the process. Now, the other thing we want to be aware of is making sure that we rein in the buts. So it's so tempting. I've done it myself, and I bet you have too, to say, well, I'm sorry I did that, but this was why I did it. And as soon as you say that but, it starts to invalidate your apology. People don't feel like you're really apologizing. It feels like you're being defensive. And the thing that we want to do with an apology is be open-handed and not defensive. So we remember the good, we rehearse the apology, we take responsibility, we look at our response with our feelings, we rein in the buts, and then we rebuild the relationship. And here's how we do that. You say, will you forgive me? I'm sorry I snapped at you yesterday about what you said at lunch. I was wrong. I was feeling really hurt and like you didn't want to be my friend anymore. Will you forgive me? So asking that question allows there to be a step of restoration. Now, every argument, every conflict doesn't necessarily end in an act of restoration. But saying, will you forgive me, allows the other person to say, yeah, I forgive you. And there's a little bit of healing that happens there. And this is what's so great about apologizing. It gives us a process for healing when we've been emotionally hurt or damaged. It gives us a process to put this thing behind us and move forward in a healthy way. If we don't have a healthy apology, if we don't have a response to the conflict, then it just festers and it starts to make us critical people, it starts to make us suspicious, and it pulls us away from people rather than drawing us to people. Apologies always take courage. And this is one of our core 4 attributes in Girltribe Nation. We believe that girls are smart, healthy, brave, and they can live with a whole lot more happy. And learning the process of saying I'm sorry is something that takes courage, and it will build courage in our girls. Once they have some tools in their tool belt to know how to say I'm sorry, it's not so scary. It's not so unknown to be like, I don't even know how to do this. I don't even know how to say I'm sorry. I don't even know why I have to say I'm sorry. Because they've got a process to go through that walks them through how to apologize in a good and healthy way. And when they have those tools in their belt, it's going to build their courage. It builds their brave. And it also is going to keep them healthier. It's going to give them healthier relationships because they have a smart way to approach conflict. And healthier relationships are something that bring a whole lot more happy into our life. This is what we want for our girls. This is a process we want them to embrace. This is a process we want them to learn, and this is a process that we want to model. So if you haven't been in the habit, mom, of saying, I'm sorry, and going through that process of saying specifically what you're sorry for, how it made you feel, and saying, will you forgive me? Then we've all got some work that we can do. And as we go into our mother-daughter great date opportunity in this conflict series, I've put together a really great resource for you that I hope you'll go and download, because it's a great thing that you can save to your phone or print out and take your girl out and talk through this process. Now you say, wait, shouldn't I wait, Lisa, until we need it? Well, you can. It'll be there for you when you need it. But if you talk about it before you need it, then defenses are a little bit lower. There's not as much emotion invested in the conversation because you're not talking about a real conflict. And so if you say, hey, let's talk a little bit about this so that when conflict arises, we know what we need to do, and we'll have this as a resource. That way, when the conflict happens and she has a fight with a family member or a friend, or there's some kind of conflict that you know that apology is needed, you've got this resource and say, hey, remember when we went out for Starbucks and we talked about conflict and we talked about how to say I am sorry? Let's pull that out again and let's walk through those steps, all those R's, and see if we can get you to a place where you're gonna feel brave in taking the approach of humility and making this apology. Okay, friends, here's to raising smart, brave, healthy girls with a whole lot more happy in their lives. I am cheering you on as you raise amazing tween daughters, as you help them learn how to navigate conflict in their relationships. Don't forget, I've created this mother-daughter great date for you to have to help walk your girls through times of conflict in their life. You can find it by going to girltribenation.com/conflict. It's free and you can access it anytime. Alrighty, friends, thank you so much for joining me today at the Raising Amazing Tween Girls Show. We here at Girltribe Nation are all about resourcing moms of tween girls to grow a generation of young ladies to be smart, healthy, brave, and live with a whole lot more happy in their lives. Now, our girls, they're going to be dealing with conflict for their whole lives. So if we can give them some resources, the skills to do this well, it is going to help shape a generation of girls to do things differently and do things way better than maybe we did. I want that for them, and I want that for your girl as well. Well, if you found today's episode helpful, it would mean so very much to me if you could share this episode with a friend. Maybe text them this episode. And if you could subscribe and leave a comment, I would so greatly appreciate it. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what's going on and what some of those apologies look like. Don't forget to check out our amazing puberty online class, Growing Up Girls, for tween girls at girltribenation.com/growingupgirl. Thanks again for joining me. I can't wait until next time. Bye for now.